What about open-ended funds that are opting to stay on T+3? What could be the impact of those, Adam?
Yeah, I think it's a general problem with the misalignment of settlement dates and, let's say, certain demands from distributors and so forth. The market impact will be limited. I don't think it will impact liquidity as such. Where it has an impact is on funding costs. So if if we're investing on trade date and we don't receive the funds till T+3, there's a funding cost. One of the issues for open-ended funds is that they do not have guaranteed overdrafts. So on every opportunity that they need to have an overdraft, they have to get permission from their custodian banks, or it will be an arrangement with a broker where there may be a funding fee included.
I think Adam nailed it, but I think the thing that I always go back to in terms of scope is the two reports, so the UK and the EU report. Within that, it's listed pretty clearly the sort of asset classes that are impacted by the move to T+1 from T+2, and they're the same asset classes with a few slight changes around SFTs of how T+2 works today. So back in 2014, when we moved from T3 to T2, those asset classes, moved. The same will move. And Adam's point on mutual funds is spot on. I think, so one of the things that we were really focused on in the UK task force, and similarly in the EU, was how best to limit or mitigate that sort of overdraft potential, because you're going to have misalignment between the securities and the subscription and redemptions of mutual funds. So, something that we recommended was that the buy side move to a T+2 subscription and redemption settlement cycle. And we've seen some support for that from the trade associations in the UK. Not so much in the EU, but obviously there's more NCAs and TAs. But it's good to see that the buy side are taking up that and recommending that subscriptions and redemptions move to a tighter settlement cycle.
And just to follow on Ben's point, obviously the ideal scenario is that there is an alignment, so that the quicker other global markets move to T+1, the less of an issue there is whether you're running a global open-ended fund or a global ETF. So we hear that Hong Kong has undertaken a consultation. We understand that other markets are similarly looking at it. So an appeal through this channel. If you are a global market not aligned to T+1, please do so.
Sure, absolutely. Very important. Global alignment is really, really key going forward.